Hey guys, it's your host, Seth Goldstein, with Juicy Diva's Confessions of a Limo Driver. And I have a very juicy, important announcement. Ever wonder how cool and refreshing it would be to hear your own voice on iTunes? Your podcast made at a touch of a button? If you haven't heard about Anchor, you are totally missing out. It's the most easiest way to make a podcast, super practical, and best part of all, it's free. It even has creation tools that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone on the go or computer in the comfort of your own home, guys. What's even better, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money for your podcast with minimum listenership. It's really that easy. Everything you need to make a podcast in one place. What are you waiting for? Download your free Anchor app or simply go to anchor.fm to get started. Until next time, thank you. Goodbye. Hey guys, it's your host, Seth Goldstein, with another Juicy Divas Confessions of a Limo Driver. Beware, this next episode is going to blow your socks away. So picture this. You know Solange Knowles from Who Knows, right? Beyonce Knows. It's basically Beyonce's little sister. Now let me give you the juicy details about this alleged queen bee, or wannabe, or at least she thinks she is. Personally, I think this nobody was lied to badly. I think we all know who the real queen bee is, right guys? But anyway, let's jump into the subject matter, the meat of the story, if you will. Or should I say, go down that rabbit hole, shall we? So anyway, this person thinks she's a total diva. She enters my car, this little damsel in distress looking for Mr. Right in shiny armor to sweep her off her feet and bed her. At least that's what she told me the night I drove her. So I pick her up with her friend, and she made it abundantly clear that she needed a boy right now. But, to be fair, she did have a couple of drinks. So, anyway, now I don't know the breakdown of her complexity as a woman. She's a little bizarre, but I will say I drove her and she was the pits. I can totally see why the relationships just don't last. She's very rude and obnoxious, all the way while making demands and things that people should be at her beck and call. In the event she needs to exit the car, this is what she does. She would put on glasses, take her sweet time, pretty much to make a total diva entrance. Unlike her sister, who is the actual star in the family, this woman would like to think that the world and everything in it evolves around her. Solange, from the start, got into my car and requested every imaginable car amenity and more. No lie, she asked me at one point, out of the sheer blue, to bust a U-turn when we had been driving aimlessly. She's a real piece of work. To give you an idea, it's pre-pandemic era on a Friday night with the crowd that had to be as large enough to fill the bowl, the Hollywood Bowl, guys, on the streets and cruising up and down Hollywood. As far as the eye could see, there was folks. And the loud cheers and screams was super deafening, I gotta tell you. Solange didn't care. Busting a bitch would mean cutting in line and just stopping traffic dead in its tracks to maneuver her feet. All she was concerned about was Solange and her narcissistic ways. I get it though, guys. Many times people drink in our cars and have a good old time, but she was being belligerent. For crying out loud, guys, this is a town car, not a freaking stretch limo. So anyway, her and her buddy got hammered as fuck, and Solange was adamant about hijacking the vehicle with its driver to basically take us on a wild joyride. I told her that we would not do such a thing. Gave her a piece of my mind. We can't just bust U-turns or bust a bitch, as he said, at will. I mean, who's going to foot the bill? I'm surely not as fuck. I mean, these tickets are super costly and the sheriffs are everywhere. I mean, are you fucking serious? Are you fucking out of your mind? Listen, you're nuts. I love to sit in the back, meaning switch places with you and all, but just tell me where you fucking want to go and I will drive in that direction. Got it? At this point, I was a little upset, needless to say. To say she's a bratty diva really is an understatement, guys. She made mention to her so-called celebrity status, the whole "do you know who I am" hogwash, to which I replied, no, I don't watch TV and much less Nickelodeon. I was in utter shock, and I just could not understand how shallow and ridiculous, preposterous she sounded. If Matthew, her dad, would only have gotten a wind of what she was doing, this awesome human being would have, had he been there, he would have given her some pretty harsh words. Honestly, her cattiness is so off the charts, I gotta tell you. She then tells me to head to Santa Monica. She resumes her conversation with her friend. For all along the lady was pretty much pleasant for the most part. We really didn't have much of a social interaction. This is where things took an ugly turn though, guys. She told me to wait in the car upon arriving to what looked like a music studio down in Santa Monica. She basically said, I should be about an hour or so. I'm going to lay down some tracks, like throwing it on me like, this is who I am. I'm also a singer. Slurring through her words and tripping over her other foot. Should have known better, guys, but I spent almost 10 hours. That's right, guys, 10 freaking hours of my precious time on standby. Watch as dispatch changed shifts and different voices came through the two-way walkie. Hey, buddy, are you still there, Seth? Are you still waiting? Then sunrise, but Solange was nowhere in sight. Honestly, she didn't even have the decency to send anybody out there to release me. It was awful. We called her car booker, to no avail. I was like, I'm going to call Beyonce. Seriously. But no, guys, honestly, it was nuts. It was like as though I was a prom date that got the shaft, which, by the way, happens quite frequently with artists, I got to tell you. Finally, after 7:30 a.m. rolls around, it was decided and unanimously I should just abandon ship. That night, I basically had lucid dreams that I was in my very own bed, the comfort of my snuggled in with my covers and just with my girl on the side, in and out of sleep, only to be rudely reminded that I was in fact in the company car still, by the occasional sirens blaring from cop cars and ambulances cruising by. But guess what, guys? I got paid handsomely for 15 hours straight. They were arguing the whole time that I should have left, but I will say today was a good day. That's right. A night I will surely never forget because it's seared into my brain. That awful distant memory that I wish it would go away, but still haunts me to this day, guys. And that is it. I promise you another juicy Divas, Confessions of a Limo Driver. Until next time, this is your host, Seth Goldstein. Goodbye until we meet again.